Good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening, depending on what time you are watching around the world. My name is DesFinance, and welcome to my brand new show, DesFinance Talks. Success leaves clues. This is a new podcast that aims to provide the audience with valuable insight into how to become successful. How do we obtain it? Well, what is success, I hear you ask? According to Earl Nightingale, success is defined as the progressive realization of a worthy goal. So I ask you, what is your worthy goal? Write it down. You see, guests will be from all walks of life, but the aim for each interview will focus on the journey of the guest and valuable information, knowledge, and nuggets that the audience can take away for their success journey. I only have 3 rules. One, that you have a notepad, a pen, or something to take notes because you do not want to lose these gems. Two, if you hear something and it stings, it's meant for you. Three, and this is the most important, do not leave any of my podcasts without noting the actions that you are going to take. If you ask me what's been the one thing that's helped me along my journey, it's simply taking action. You see, I'm an action man. Just a tiny bit about me, so we're not strangers. 6 years ago, I was a secondary school teacher in East London. And as much as I loved my job, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. Then an opportunity came my way, and I took mass action. And the rest, as they say, is history. If you're serious about your success journey, whatever it may be, then make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell. In fact, do it right now. Take action. And now, on to our next guest. Action, let's go. So, guys, it may not come as a huge surprise for me to announce my very first guest for this podcast series. And it's someone who I've actually seen up close and personal his whole journey. There are not many people who I know who are earning in excess of $75,000 each and every single month. But more importantly, there's nobody I know right now who's impacting on a global scale and at this level. So, guys, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my very first guest, Mr. Premium Bells. Wow. Wow.
It's good to be here, man.
And an extra wow on top. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on as a first guest. It's definitely a privilege. So,
Tell us a little bit more about yourself, about your background, about your journey.
okay. How far do you want to go back?
Take us right back to the beginning. Baby Bells.
Yeah, Baby Bells. All right. So, I was born and raised in East London. From a very young age, I played football. That was what my first major passion. Mum raised 5 kids by herself, so I got 3 brothers, 1 sister. So there's 5 of us. So from young, I watched my mum kind of really struggle to play the role of both mum and dad, keep the family together, pay the bills, make sure there's food on the table. So from very young, I developed a sort of a desire to want to, make things easier for her. And football was my way out. At 19, I got offered a scholarship to go play in America.
Wow.
That's actually something that most people don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that most people don't know. So yeah, that was an amazing experience. It was full time. When I first got there, the regime for 2 weeks in preseason is that we'll train 3 times a day. That was the toughest experience ever. Wake up at 4 in the morning, would have a session, go for a run at 4:30, come back, have a nap, wake up, have breakfast, 12 o'clock, more training, go and have lunch, go nap, go study, and then 5:30 was a training for the evening. And we've
Wow.
done that consistently for 2 weeks straight. So that experience was a good experience. But after 1 year, I saw that the program I was in, nobody was making it pro. Most people that came from international just became coaches when the scholarship finished. And that wasn't where I saw my life. Took the scholarship because I wanted to become professional. And so after a year, I came back to the UK was meant to be on holiday, and that's when I got introduced to network marketing.
How did you get
Yeah.
introduced to the industry? And also for people who are not familiar with the industry of network marketing,
Yeah.
maybe you can just define what it is.
Okay, cool. So network marketing is basically it's an industry where companies provide products or services that average people can come and start marketing and build a business out of. So the benefits is you don't have to incur all the responsibilities of a traditional business owner, like the staff, the product, the inventory, the payout system. You don't need to worry about any of that. The company does that. All you have to worry about is the marketing and building a network of salespeople that also market the product. So when I came back, it was supposed to be a 1 month break from the States. Um, a good friend of mine that I used to play football with, Hugo, actually introduced me
Big
to
up
network
Hugo.
marketing. Yeah, big shout out to Hugo. So that one conversation, I can say, changed my life. He gave me a call and he said, while you're back, do you want to make some money? He invited me to an event, introduced me to his mentor at the time. He said, through this opportunity, I was able to retire both my parents.
Wow.
And then that just planted a seed in my head that I couldn't get it out. So I got started. Initially, it was just to make some money during the holidays. And then after coming to a few events, actually meeting more people in the industry that I was working for, I decided that, you know what, I'm not going back.
Wow.
And everyone thought I was crazy.
I can imagine. That's a big decision to make.
It was a very big decision because, you know, kids at the time would die to have a scholarship to go live and play full time. My house was paid for, my food was paid for, my studies was paid for because I was in university. So I was in a good position, but again, the long-term vision of after 4 years when I graduate, I didn't see myself becoming professional. It wasn't happening within that system. But I fell in love with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur in a network marketing space because the whole dream about football, yes, I love playing football, but the dream was to be able to look after my family. So that was the main goal.
Right.
And football was just a vehicle.
But just concentrating on the vehicle, what made you see that this vehicle was credible to allow you to retire your mum?
I think it was the countless amount of success stories.
Mm.
It was undeniable that this industry worked. It wasn't just one, it wasn't just two. There were tens of success stories of people that came from a similar background to me. No business being in business, no experience starting a company, no experience being an entrepreneur. But they came in and the vehicle had a system, a track record that people could just follow and get similar, if not better results.
And that's a really important takeaway for anyone who is looking for a vehicle to get them to their goal. Have you seen enough social proof that it can actually deliver those results? And you obviously did,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I
So
saw a lot.
I can only assume that you went on to become a multi-millionaire.
I thought I was gonna retire my mum within 6 months. Some of the success stories I was hearing were out of this world. Um, it was the complete opposite. I probably made around about £100 a month for the first 3 years.
It sounds to me like you got sold a dream.
I did become bitter at one point.
Mm.
There are parts of the industry that, you know, are cons in terms of the way people represent it, you know, the way people sell it. But I boiled it down to I had no skills. I had no leadership. I had, you know, no experience. And so when you look at any other industry, right, it takes years. If you want to be a lawyer, it's going to be 3 years, 4 years of just studying before you go and actually, you know, work in the field. Same thing as being a doctor, engineer, any profession that's going to pay you a lot of money. It's going to take years and years and years.
Absolutely.
The difference is with network marketing, you can make money fast. Like you can come in and people, you know, become six-figure earners within their first 6 months to a year. It can happen, but those stories are probably 1 or 2% of people. And that's what kind of confuses people because those stories get glorified. So people like me at the time thought, okay, this is the story for everyone.
Yes.
But the real story is it's going to take years.
It's tough.
It's tough.
So for anyone who maybe in the industry or in another industry, but facing the same kind of dilemma.
Yeah.
Do I stick or do I keep going? What was it that made you say, you know what? Even though I'm only 100K a month, even though I'm not a top earner yet, I'm gonna see this through.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think it's a mix between a few things. I made a big sacrifice. So it was like, I just let go of a scholarship to do this. You know, kind of let my mum down. She didn't understand. She was so proud when I got a scholarship. All my friends were proud. My teachers and, peers were all proud. And I let it go for this. So I made a big sacrifice, number one.
Mm.
And then it was a balance between, I consistently saw proof that it was working. So in my head, I just needed to get better before it can work for me. And also, what else was I going to do?
So what happened next? Right? So it didn't quite work out there. Then what happened?
I gave up.
Okay.
I finally gave up. To be fair, the company made some changes in the compensation, and the amount of money that we could make was reduced. So we now had to put in more effort to make the same amount. And at that point, I was hardly making anything, and to now have to work twice as hard to make £100 a month. I was just like,
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
this is a
I
joke.
really don't.
This is an absolute joke. My life took a little bit of a turn in the wrong direction. The area I grew up in, the environment I was in, and this is why I'm big on environments and your associations. I was associated with individuals that were quote unquote making money the wrong way, right? Fast money. So I ended up getting involved in some of those activities. Um, and I began to see quick money, not a lot, but at the time, making £100 a month, the money I was seeing seemed like a lot. And I was doing that for about, let's say, 9 months, right? So I was working, but I was doing this on the side. And I got reintroduced to the industry after about a year of giving up through trading and network marketing.
Wow.
And
What a combination.
Yeah, this was powerful. This was powerful. This was the first time because my first company, I was basically selling gas and electricity deals,
Right.
broadband deals, SIM-only phone contracts. So we're selling, all right, and people are consuming. This was the first time that we're providing something that can make customers money and not just take money away from them. We're providing them with education on a skill set of how they can multiply their money in the financial industry. So that concept honestly blew my mind. I know the first 3 years didn't work out, but this system with trading and network marketing put together, which was the first time it was ever done.
Yeah.
This was in 2018. I said, let's give it another go.
It was September 2018 that we really crossed paths.
Yeah.
Right. So we've just heard Belzy's story. So this is where I kind of come into the story now. And it was Miami.
Yeah.
Right. Miami, in the United States. I was still teaching at the time. I was still a school teacher. And my upline, my mentor at the time said, you have to come to Miami. There's a big convention. All of the top earners are going to be there. You just have to be there. These times, guys, I'm still a school teacher and the convention is September. I'm meant to be at work. So I had to play hooky, right? I had to call in sick to go to this convention in Miami. I feel so guilty. Don't tell anybody. So myself and my colleague Branny, we flew out to Miami for this convention, and the convention blew my mind. But that's a conversation for another day. But after the first day, we went to what's that famous beach in Miami?
South Beach.
South Beach. We went to South Beach, and then we just started milling around by the bars by South Beach, and that's when I first came across a young Premium Bells.
So yeah, my journey from there, I remember being in Miami. I was about a 2K a month earner at that time. So in that company, it took me about 4 months to do that. And for me at the time, that was such a big deal. From that point, you know, uh, as soon as I came back from Miami, about a month later is when, my whole life took a turn again.
Ooh.
Um,
So
So I was
I
ready.
was actually going to ask you
Yeah.
if there's been any defining moments
Yeah, that was
that
definitely
you
a
would
defining moment.
consider a turning point.
Yeah, that was a big turning point.
Right. Okay.
Because after Miami, I was pumped up. I was very close to the 5K a month position, which at the time for me,
Massive.
that was a lot of money,
Huge.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
And one morning, I got woken up by the boys in blue. The police came
Wow.
in.
Not Everton fans.
No, definitely not Everton fans. This was the police. And it was for the activities I was involved in 2017, prior to getting
Wow.
involved in the trading
So
network
just
market
to
stuff.
interject real quick, because that's a little nugget that you've dropped there. I mean, you're going to go on to unpick this, but it just goes to show the importance of who you're hanging around
Yeah.
and who you spend the most time with. But
Yeah.
you carry on. I'm going to touch
Yeah.
on that because that's a nugget.
So I got taken to the station, got questioned, got interviewed and whatnot, met with my lawyer. And at the time, I still didn't think it was that serious that I needed to be concerned about until I spoke with my lawyer. And I said, just tell me what's the worst case scenario from this situation. Like, what can I be looking at? That was the first time I've ever been involved with the police in any sort of way. So it was kind of a new concept to me. And he said, look, I don't want to throw out numbers in the sky because it's very early on, but you could be looking at 3 to 5 years, worst case scenario. I went on trial, which from the point I got arrested till the end of the trial was about a 9-month period.
Okay.
So that 9 months was probably the toughest. Just not knowing what your future holds and
Crazy.
being in limbo.
Your liberty just in jeopardy.
It was the toughest period. But that period, going through that and coming out strong mentally, gave me the skill in my locker that I can deal with hardships and still be solid.
I know the viewers are gonna want me to ask you what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
So
please.
basically, we were reselling TFL travel cards.
Okay.
Right. A lot of people think maybe I was selling drugs or whatnot. It wasn't that.
That's what I want to clarify.
I was reselling TFL travel cards. So, of course, through multiple individuals, knew someone on the inside of TFL, they were able to get, these tickets in bulk. We'll get them for very cheap and then resell them. I remember getting asked to stand up in court. Everyone was there. Like everyone I was involved, everyone's family, my mum was there. It was very tense. It felt like Judgment Day.
Wow.
That's what it felt like. So he read, a bit about me, and the judge was saying nice things like, this is your first time you've been involved in any crime. You're doing positive things outside. You're trading, you're building a business. You've worked in recruitment. You had a scholarship in America. So it seems like you just made a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
led astray kind of thing.
Yeah, and anything below 2 years, you can get suspended sentence, which means you get a record, but you don't go to prison.
Yeah.
You do community service and whatnot. So the verdict was 15 months. So after him reading these things, I'm thinking, okay, cool. This is under 2 years. This is good. He's gonna let me go on suspended sentence. And he went on and said, due to the magnitude of, the case and how much money was lost, I already knew where this was going. He said, we cannot suspend your sentence. So you're going to have to go.
That must have felt like an arrow through the chest.
Do you know what? The funny thing is, when he said that, I felt relief. Which
Really?
is strange. Yeah.
That's interesting. Can you unpick that?
I felt a relief because the thought of not knowing was even worse.
Yeah.
And I was feeling like that for 9 months.
Anxiety.
Every day going to bed, just not even being able to sleep, like what's gonna happen. But the fact that I knew what I had to deal with, I can now mentally say, okay, cool. They've given me 15 months. I'll come out in 7.5. You do half in the UK. Let's face this challenge.
So you've got this huge, huge thing that's happened to you now, right? I want to know how you deal with that, how you coped with that mentally, because I believe there's a theme there in anyone who's going through anything, right? Their own piece of adversity, how they could get through it as well.
It was tough, I won't lie. I remember being on a coach. The thing that got me through even just the journey of going there, because the coach was like, we're in a cell on the bus, right? So we're in cuffs and we're trapped in a box. We're locked in a cage. and there's maybe 8 to 10 different cages. They're all going there together. So it's just me and my thoughts. There's no window. I can't even see where we're going. And the quote from Napoleon Hill just kept on ringing in my head. Every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent or even greater benefit.
Hold on. Say that one again. Say that one again for the people at the back.
Yes, this is my favorite one. So every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent or even greater benefit. That was ringing in my head, and I kept saying, how can I potentially benefit from this? And the biggest thing that came in my head is I'm going to have just time that I would never be able to go outside. No social media, no internet, no phone, no nothing. Just me and my cellmate. I also was forced to face my biggest fear, which was the fear of criticism, the fear of what people think about me. And especially in my industry, I've never heard of a story of somebody that became super successful in the industry that during their journey, they went to prison and came back and became successful.
Sometimes we get so caught up
Yeah.
thinking, what's this person going to think of that? What are family and friends going to think of this?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, A, they don't care.
Yeah.
Or B, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't affect you achieving your goals.
It doesn't. So I kept on thinking of a benefit. I said, I'm going to use this time wisely. I'm going to really just people like family members and close friends that knew about the situation. They would, when I call or they would write, what do you need? Do you want money sent? Do you need this? Do you need that? I just said, just send me books. That's all I want. I ended up with about 25 to 30 books, and I would just read all day. I would spend 4 hours, 5 hours at least, just reading, highlighting, taking notes. And I asked myself a question that I think most people don't ask themselves. I sat down and asked myself, what do I want from life?
Guys, that question there is so powerful. What do you want? What do you want?
That's it. I want to be happy, right? At the most of the time through my life, I want to feel happiness. Okay, what makes me happy? What are some things that can, add to my happiness? And the word was freedom.
Hmm.
Freedom to do what I want to do, the choices. So I knew that straight away, money had to be attached to it for me to have freedom of choice. But it couldn't be just money. It had to be time freedom. I couldn't be attached to something where I had to be here or I had to do this. I needed to have freedom of my time where I can design my own life. So that freedom gave me happiness and location freedom. I could go around the world and pretty much do what I want. So those were the things that I wanted. And I said, what makes me passionate? What am I passionate about? And I found my passion in network marketing was the impact. Being the feeling of inspiring someone through your work with them, through them watching your leadership, and somebody coming up to you and saying, because of you, I was able to do this. I need to use this story as an inspiration. That became the somewhat benefit. The fact that I went to prison and had to face all those hardships, the benefit was if I can make it through, this can now become a story, on a journey. And I knew straight away I can't get too caught up in this environment. I need to kind of segregate myself. So that's why I used books. I wish I had audios in there. I would have used audios. I didn't have audios. I used books. I meditated for hours. I would put pictures up all on the prison wall of my goals. I'd tell people to send me pictures and I'll put them up on my wall. I'd visualize, I'd work out, and I'll just try my best to keep myself to myself. Being inside wasn't that tough. Like I saw a lot of crazy things happen, like people getting stabbed, fights every day, people getting bullied, food getting stolen, and just a lot of gang violence. I saw a lot in there, but that wasn't really what was tough to deal with. What was tough to deal with was knowing that I couldn't pay my mom's rent, or I couldn't help. I was helping out with the rent. I couldn't do that. and knowing what she was going through, knowing that I'm inside, that was mentally tough, right? Very tough. And she'd come to visit me a couple times, and I could see that she's hurting inside, but she's trying to just stay strong to not show it. But I can see it in her. So mentally, that was tough. And the other tough part was my organization, my network that I built on the outside. You know, the organization wasn't mature enough to grow without me. It was still a baby. And so with the 200 odd people that I was mentoring at the time, um it just began to crumble.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a teaching in there that I don't want to get lost. And that is that whenever you're facing an adversity or a challenge of any kind, ask yourself that same question. What benefit can I get from this adversity?
I used to write myself letters. It was meant to be from the future, and I would say, I think I still have some of them, but I'd say just hang in there.
Mm.
We're living good right now. We've got the lifestyle, we've got the story, we've got the impact. Mum's retired. Just hang in there. Like, I would literally be writing myself from the future, and it sounds crazy, but that really helped. I really believed it. I really believed
But
it.
you have to.
Yeah, I had to really believe it. But fast forward, finally came out. I was ready. I had written down so many goals. I'd asked myself so many questions in terms of what I want to do. I mapped everything out. I set a 10-year goal, 5-year goal, a 3-year goal, and a 1-year goal. So I just had all this time to prepare,
Just level up.
and I was just ready. I was
So
ready to
whilst
go.
we're just there coasting, you're there just getting the jump on us.
Yeah. Came out, started building a team again. We threw a summer barbecue, which became historic within Mastermind, because that was the barbecue where we set the vision. I studied a lot of leadership inside, and I began to understand how important a vision is. So this is when I started implementing, what the vision is for the organization. So yeah, we pretty much documented everything on social media. So if you scroll back to 2020, you'll see the day I came out, and you'd actually see every post that I made. 9 months later, I was at 12K a month.
Before that, I remember getting a crazy phone call from you.
Oh yeah.
I remember I was in my office. I was in my Canary Wharf office, and I get a phone call from you, and you just sounded like a man on a mission.
Yep.
You sounded like a man on a mission, and you asked me a question, and I'll never forget, because the way you asked the question, I could tell that you weren't coming to play games.
Mm.
Do you remember the question that you asked me?
Yep.
What was the question?
It was, how did you go from 2K to, I think it was at 25K at that time, with so many things on your plate? It was along the lines of that.
And I remember the answer I gave you, and I'm normally hesitant to give this kind of answer because I know the impact it can have.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I said? What
Yeah.
did I say?
You said you had to temporarily let everything go and just focus on the one thing.
That power of going all in,
Yeah.
and making that decision.
That was scary.
Crazy. It's very
It
scary.
was scary. It was very scary.
What you did after that phone call and what I've just witnessed, I've not seen before in the industry.
Yeah.
What happened? You lost your mind.
I did lose the plot. I forced myself, because at the time I don't do it so much today. It's more subtle, but I forced myself to believe in what I was saying. Like, every day, I would physically speak to myself in the mirror for 10 minutes.
That sounds crazy.
No, it does sound crazy. And when I first started doing it, I felt stupid, but I did it so consistently for so long that I began to feel it, and that took place in my actions and confidence.
So what he's talking about now, guys, is one of the secret weapons of entrepreneurship that's often not spoken about, and when it is spoken about, can often be dismissed as mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Right? It can often be dismissed. Oh, talking to yourself, telling yourself you're going to be this.
Yeah.
speaking things into existence. It
Yeah.
sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're able to really manage self-talk, I'm telling you that you're gonna unlock levels to this thing that we call life in ways that you cannot even imagine.
Yeah. It was powerful. My brothers will wake up. I'll be up at 6:30 in the morning and I'll be screaming in the mirror.
Mm.
And the first week they used to come into my room like thinking, is this guy all right? I know you just came up. Because I would scream in the mirror like I'm successful, I'm a winner. No one with my last name shall ever know what lack is. I'm a six-figure earner. I would scream myself all these things. And I just I gave myself 2 weeks to study everyone in the industry. Everyone that had success, I'll watch their videos, I'll take notes, I'll create a roadmap, a game plan for 90 days. 3 months, I'm gonna commit to this game plan so I can finally crack that 10K a month position.
I mentioned earlier, success leaves clues. Honestly, guys, it's one of the shortcuts to success.
Yeah, it really is.
Literally find someone who's doing what you want to do at the level that you want to do it, and you can literally copy your way to success.
Yeah.
As an ex-school teacher, I used to tell people off for copying. We called it plagiarism, right? But now I say it's absolutely okay to be a copycat, as long as you're copying the right cat.
Yeah. Those 2 weeks I'd study, I'd got on the phone to as many people as I can. And I just created a roadmap. And I said, I'm not going out for these 3 months. I sacrificed these 3 months. I figured out what my distractions were at the time and I had to eliminate them. Right. So I didn't listen to music.
Wow.
It was when I was going to bed, I was listening to podcasts and self-help audios in my sleep. I bought a pillow speaker. You can pull it in your pillow. And it's not loud enough to keep you awake, but it's just about the right tone to go into your subconscious. So I was doing that for 90 days, just literally sleeping to these audios. I said women for me at the time was a distraction.
Oh,
So I had to, I had to let go.
sorry, ladies.
I had to let go for those 3 months. It's just a focus, right? And so I sacrificed for those 3 months and I worked 16 hours a day. 16 hours a day, back to back. I literally, that was the one of the only times, probably the first time, that I literally gave it my all. Like I gave it everything. By the time I didn't even used to go to bed, I would fall asleep. That's how much energy I gave. I would fall asleep just out of just how tired I was.
Yeah.
I gave it my all. I was relentless, absolutely relentless. I was so intentional about what the goal was, about what I needed to do on a day to day, because I already planned everything out. And I just done the same thing every single day.
Wow.
Done the same. I was very consistent for those 90 days. But I wanted to do what I heard Holt and Bugs say, which is compressed timeframes. The results that takes people 3 years, I wanted to do in 3 months.
People don't understand that you can
Yeah.
actually compress time
You
frames.
can. It's powerful.
Something that could take years to achieve,
Yeah.
you can make happen in weeks.
Yeah, you can. It's powerful. But you got to be willing to do what most people are not. And the hours I was putting in, the work I was putting in, most people weren't willing to do that. Right. It took a lot of mental work to get myself to do that work, because the reason why people wouldn't push themselves to do that level of work because they don't believe in the outcome.
Yeah.
So if you don't believe in the outcome, you're basically wasting your time. So I had to do a lot of mental work to get myself to believe in the outcome. And if I believe in the outcome, then I'll be willing to do the work it takes to get the results. And so that's why I continually done those affirmations. I would put up pictures on my wall all over the house, with all my goals. I'd took my mum's phone at the time and I sent myself a text saying, thank you so much, because of you, I don't have to work anymore. I printed that out. I put it on my wall. I used to look at it every day.
Wow.
So I'll do all these things that would just help my mental stay focused, because I felt like I was going to war. Like that was the mentality, it was do or die. And at the end, we came out, victorious. After hitting 10K a month, I believed anything was possible.
Even saying that you want to make 100K a month is wild. for most people. Bearing in mind, I
Yes.
come from an industry where head teachers make 100K a year.
Yeah.
So that was like the best I could hope for, right?
Yeah.
I could one day make 100K a year, and that was like
Yeah.
the prize, right? That was the
It was who I was
holy grail.
associated around. I was associated with people that were making that money. It was as big to me as what 10K a month was, but because I cracked that code, I knew at some point I'll be able to do it. At some point. Um, and then I committed. I committed myself to the industry of network marketing to becoming a professional. I said I want to become so good, so undeniably skilled that I never have to worry about my income.
Mm,
I'm so good that I'm worth at least even 100K a month is
mm.
not enough for the value that I bring.
So right now, guys, he's making $75,000 a month,
Yeah.
and for a lot of people that will be hard to digest.
Mhm.
Because it was hard for me to digest. To put it into context, I remember in a previous opportunity where I was earning over $500,000 a month. And I remember telling my mum, and my mum said, I'm lying. She said, there's no way. What are you talking about? She said, you're
Yeah.
making more money than the prime minister. It's not possible. So I understand how figures like this can sound crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you're making $75,000 a month, which is mind blowing, right? How does that feel, first of all? Like, just off the bat, because you just told us this incredible story. 1 minute you're in a cell
Yeah.
reading books. Now you're earning $75,000
Yeah.
every month. So I want to know how it feels,
Yeah.
and I want to know what you do with your money, because I know that the
Okay.
viewers are going to they're going to want to know what you do with your money.
In terms of what I do with my money, I'm a lot more conservative than what I thought I would be.
Hmm.
And that's probably because I learned a tough lesson. When I first came in contact with money, I didn't really have, good money management. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. My first thought process, and this is for a lot of people, is if I double my income, people's first thought process is, how can I upgrade my lifestyle? What clothes can I buy? What restaurants can I eat at? What car can I drive? Where can I live? When now my mindset is, what can I invest my money into? So after hitting 25K a month, I haven't upgraded my lifestyle since. So all the extra money coming in,
Wow.
it's just been saved and invested. I'm hungry for the next level, but it's not the money anymore that's making me hungry, because the money is enough to live how I want to live. But it's it's two things that's driving me right now. It's the fear of where I came from. I feel like I'm running away as far as away as possible. I want to get so far that I never even have to think for a second, right? To the point where if I lose all my income today, I'm good for life. And I'm not at that point yet. I want to be at that point where I've put so much away in investments and making so much in passive income that if I was to lose everything, I wouldn't even flinch. So I need to get there. And the big driver is my legacy. I really want to create a legacy for my last name.
Wow.
And that was from the conversation that we had. I don't even
Yes.
remember on the way to Manchester.
Yes.
That really put things into perspective. And just for the viewers, we were on a trip to Manchester, and this is when I was, in your organization in a former company, and you was making about, I think, 300 to 400K a month. And I was a bit surprised. I was in a car with you driving 4 hours, and I was thinking, what is possessing this man
Mm.
to drive 4 hours? You really didn't need to. Your business was paying you whether or not you'd make those journeys. I was very interested in what drives you, and we got into a conversation about your legacy, what you're leaving behind, your kids. So that's the big driver for me now. How far can I take this is the challenge. I want to know, if I really push, how far can I take this? And I really want to leave something behind.
So you've had a really nice, successful few years. Is there anything that stands out as like a real proud moment for you?
Um, was finally retiring mum. I moved her back to Nigeria, and
Wow. Wow. No, we have to clap that one
I
because
appreciate that.
that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. So that was probably the proudest moment. And it wasn't at that moment, it was the moments after, just seeing how more comfortable she's become, seeing how less she's worrying. My mom's a big warrior. You know, she wants the best for everyone. Um, and she raised us by herself. So a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure. So seeing how relaxed she's become, taking the pressure off her.
Is there anything on your bucket list that you're looking forward to achieving?
Yes, I saw a few individuals that we do business with um, fly to another country for a couple of weeks for charity. I want to do something like that in Africa.
Mm,
So I just want to find the right organization with the right ethics, with a vision I believe in, and not just donate, but actually go and
be on
experience,
the ground.
help out the cooking and the, moving of equipment and stuff like that. So I really want to do something like that. Um, I haven't found the organization yet that I want to do that with, but that's something on the bucket list.
So who do you look up to? Who are your role models?
I'd say the number one person who I'm really inspired by is Napoleon Hill.
Wow.
He's like number one. Um, just the way he thinks, how uh intelligent he is.
Big shout.
Yeah,
Think and Grow Rich, guys.
yeah.
If you've not read that book, you need to make sure you read or listen to it.
He's the biggest one. Right now, I'm studying John Maxwell. I'm
Wow.
really focusing on leadership for me to take my business to the next level.
Can you tell us a bit more about your kind of your daily routine?
Yeah, my morning routine. I have a fixed morning routine now, which really helps me uh start the day. So I wake up. I actually do 5 minutes of a breathing exercise, which just energizes the body. Then I journal for about, let's say, 5 minutes. I do a page a day. I start by saying, "Dear God, today I'm thankful for X, Y, and Z," and then I just write down how I'm feeling or how the day went. Then I read for 15 minutes. I read about 10 pages. Then I do 10 minutes of yoga, and then like my mind and body feels good. That's what I want to focus on first. So that takes me about an hour. So the first hour of my day, I don't really look at my phone. I'm doing those things. Then I check my messages, respond to everyone, and then I get on my laptop. I look at my schedule for the day, my calendar, and then I start my trading. Do that for about an hour. I go gym, come back. Well, go gym. After gym, I go spa. In the spa, I'll do 10 minutes of meditating, and then I'll do 10 minutes listening to my affirmations. From the spa, I'll go back to my apartment, and then I carry on. I basically start my day from there. From 1 to 2, I'm trading again, and then from 2 till 10 is building a business.
Are there any life lessons that you've learned along the way? If you could pick one to pass on to any of the viewers.
You basically said it. Um, Number one, find the people who have the results that you want. Number two, get close enough to be able to study them. And number three, you duplicate their results and you 10x the work ethic. That's my 3-step formula. And that's what I've used since 2018. Gave you that phone call. You gave me a piece of advice and I executed. A life goal or a life advice is focus on how much you can grow as an individual.
There could be so many viewers watching this that are probably thinking, how can I lock horns with this guy? How can I partner with him or
Mhm.
partner with his organization in order to get to their next level, achieve their goals, whether they're financial or otherwise? How can people do that? Is there any action that someone watching this can take
Mhm.
in order to level up?
Um, the best way to get in contact with me is Instagram at Premium Bells. Um, I have a large organization with a lot of leaders that I'm mentoring, and typically when I start working with someone, I'll position them with one of the leaders I'm working with. And one of my skills now is identifying potential leaders.
And how would you describe trading for anyone that's unfamiliar with the term?
Trading typically within Forex is buying and selling currencies. is buying assets, and any asset you want to make money from, you want to buy low and sell high. You want to make money in stocks, you want to buy a stock for a low price, sell it for more than you bought it for. You want to make money in real estate, you want to buy a house for a low price, sell it for more than you bought it for. With currencies, it's very similar. We want to buy at low prices and sell for more than you bought it for. So, in our company, we teach how to identify when to buy, when to sell. We also have products that help automate the process for you. Help do some of the heavy lifting for you. We have a bunch of education from professionals who have the results. So, yeah, we're in forex, crypto, and stocks as well. Those are the three industries
Nice.
we're in. Yeah.
And is it super expensive to kind of get started?
No, it's very cheap actually. I don't want to use the word cheap. It's very affordable. So about £80 a month would be the subscription. Yeah.
Powerful. Amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just want to take the moment to just thank you for coming,
No, it's
being
been a
my
pleasure.
first guest. What an absolute cracking first guest. You've just covered so many topics, and just hearing your story, although I've heard it before,
Mm.
right? Just hearing it again today was truly inspiring. And I believe that everything that's happened to you has happened for a reason.
Yep.
And you're in a position now to impact so many people positively for so many different reasons. And you truly are an inspiration.
I
So
appreciate that.
again, I want to thank you, and I look forward to celebrating all your future milestones. It's absolutely done.
Many more.
But something I want to do is I want to end the show with a nugget from you, right? We're gonna get a nugget from you, and then for my next guest, I'm gonna play them that nugget and get
Okay.
their thoughts on that nugget, and I'm gonna
Okay.
keep that going, keep the chain going.
Okay, cool. I think it's a lot of people should have heard this quote, but I think I can relate to this a lot because of how much pain I went through. But until the pain of remaining the same, or until the pain of change outweighs the pain of staying the same, then you will never change.
Oof.
Right? So it's like the pain of your situation, right, has to outweigh, the pain that you have to go through to change. Because I had to go through pain either way. The pain of me growing, that was painful. The sacrifices I had to make, what I had to grow through, the losses along the way. But then the pain of being broke, not being able to help my mom, that had to outweigh the pain of those sacrifices I had to make. So until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change, then you'll never change.
So that's
Yeah.
an amazing nugget. Thank you so much. Thanks
Appreciate
again
it.
for being the first guest. And 100K a month is absolutely done.
It's done.
Let's make it happen.